Hello, this is Josh Davison for Bleeding Cool, where we're actually talking about comics for this comic site, which is just so weird. Um, Feels like we should be talking about the Snyder Cut or something. And today we're going to be reviewing. Well, first of all, this is my co-host Jeremy. Say hi.
Hello, I'm Jeremy. I write about collectibles for Bleeding Cool.
And for those who know me, know I like to complain about comics for Bleeding Cool. And today we will be talking about Marvel 2-in-1 number 3, Flushed Away. Um,
AKA the best comic on the stands.
ooh, I would like to dive into that,
Okay.
and we will. Um, I'll cover the plot, and then we'll see the floor to you, so you can so you can justify that statement.
Works for
Um,
me.
so, uh, the Thing and the Human Torch are reunited, and it feels so good.
Yes, it
And
does.
they are attempting to, well, the rest of the Fantastic Four, as well as the Fantastic Children. Um, the Thing thinks they're dead. The Human Torch thinks they're alive. We know that they're slingshotting universes into existence, and also the ever present Doom is is involved and trail and on their trail.
As he should be.
And this issue deals with Human Torch's power fluctuations and trying to heal that. And they get a special buddy to help them out, one that I'm always happy to see. And we'll see the floor to you.
Okay. Um, this is the best comic on the stands. I am a gigantic Fantastic Four fan, and it is not a secret that they have not been treated well by Marvel Comics on the comic side as of late. That's not their fault. That is somebody else's fault. His name rhymes with bike. And
Mike Nelson of Mystery Science Theater. What?
um, when this book was announced, was I wrote it off. I was like, Chip Zdarsky writing a team up book with just Thing and Human Torch has got to be the most boring thing I could ever think of in my life. And I can't believe how wrong I was. His brand of writing with humor and the family dynamic. I didn't know that Chip Zdarsky was capable of writing a family dynamic like this. Like, it feels like Johnny and Ben are brothers for the first time in years. Like, this is Fantastic Four level storytelling that I mean, Hickman had it, but before that, I hadn't felt it since, geez, Byrne, like a really, really long time. And when people can write that dynamic with the four of them, in this case two, well, the characters are perfect. They're the perfect comic book characters. You know, Ben has a heart of gold, but he looks like a monster, and you know he's okay with that because he's helping his family, and Johnny is the hothead, so to speak, and but you know he's doing it for his family, and he understand. And at the end of the day, he understands that. For a long time, we got away with that, got away from that, and just you mix in all of these classic elements like the Tinkerer and Hydro Man, and you have Doom running around, and this is where we're getting Doom in his infamous Iron Man suit, but he's kind of Doom again. And unlike in the infamous Iron Man book where he's still trying to play both sides, here he's Doom. He is Doom here. And Doom is my all-time favorite Marvel villain. He's might be my all-time favorite Marvel character. And just yes, there you go. And, literally everything about this is exactly what I want from a Fantastic Four book. The only thing is missing is the other half of the four. If they turn this into the Fantastic Four book, it could run for decades. It has all the classic sensibilities of the first Marvel superhero team, and I think that's important and something that they desperately need to cling to right now. They need a strong Fantastic Four, and this is the way to get it. This book is the way to get to that. And I mean, I'm just so happy that we have this book in existence.
I agree to a point. Zdarsky definitely is doing a lot better. I hadn't read a lot of his material. I mostly knew him by reputation because he was on like kind of goofy side books.
He's like the sweetest guy you'll ever meet in your life. I've met him a couple times at cons, and I was so happy for him when he got Peter Parker's Spider-Man. And just that book's just not for me. I'm not a big fan of that book. But he's grown so much as a writer after writing Howard the Duck and things like that. And instead of this silly book, he's bringing it all back and showing another side of himself as a writer. And I really appreciate that. It feels like we're growing along with him with each issue. And that's something I like to see. I like to see people elevate their game when they get an assignment they can really sink their teeth into.
And he does my favorite thing about this book is the sort of complicated chemistry that's going on between there's a hey
my Wi-Fi died.
Storm.
we finished Cap and we're on Marvel 2-in-1 now.
Oh, I should have just stayed away and let you guys do this on your own.
It's nice to still have the training wheels a little bit just in case. But yeah, as I was saying, that the best thing about this book to me is definitely the kind of complicated chemistry between Johnny and Ben, because it's that mixture of like, they know each other, they deeply care about each other, but they're not being entirely honest with one another, with thinking that he knows the truth that Reed and Sue are dead, and Johnny just trying to cling on to hope. I think that's really strong here. My initial hesitation, which kind of overtook my review and reading of number 1, was like, this feels a little kind of half-assed. Like, while it is a good read and it had Zdarsky doing some of his best, probably his best work, and Jim Chung, whose art is just so good. It felt a little weird because they were we don't have the Fantastic Four, so they're kind of giving us this half Fantastic Four when we could just have nothing, only that person who should not be named, whose name rhymes with like is kind of what's keeping the FF away. And so it just kind of feels...
Oh, okay. I'm caught up now. It took me a minute. It's like...
I can see the gears turning.
I know. Well, it's like 20 minutes past my bedtime, so I'm like, what are they talking about? Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind. Hi, how you doing?
But it was a little galling because it was just like, okay, they're throwing us a bone. That's nice, but it's kind of just sweeping the fact that they could technically bring it back at any point under the rug, and that's what got me. That feeling didn't go away as I got to issue 2. It's gone here, but it kind of feels unfortunate because it feels like the story didn't really go anywhere. It was the first. To me, it's like we're at issue 3 and we're already running out of narrative steam already, which didn't. I still enjoyed it because the interplay between Johnny, Ben, and special guest star Hercules, Prince Power. Also, I like that they reference Greg Pak and Fred Van Lent's Herc book when he didn't have his superpowers. It's like, hey, someone else read that. That's awesome. The interplay saved it for me because Hercules does add like a weird chemistry to these two, but figuring out like what's wrong with their powers and the weird new addition we're adding to the FF mythos with that, where they essentially power one another up just by being in the same universe. That was a little weird to me. And
yeah, I like that. Oh, no, I like that. It plays more into the dynamic that they are a family. They have to stick together. They have to. They are the first family of Marvel
heroes.
Comics. They have to. I love that.
I get it. I do get it. I get that. And if this were an element, it's one of those things. It's like Voyager in the Avengers. My favorite thing to do.
No, that's stupid. No, don't compare those two.
No, it's similar in that, like, okay, but like, what about when Johnny was thought to be dead and in the negative zone, or any other time where they've just been completely.
Well, but see, there. I mean, you're starting. That's just comics. I mean,
I know.
I know that's a stupid explanation, but I mean, a lot of that's Johnny's dead. No, he's not. He's in the negative zone. Well, we didn't know that. We knew that. But
but I'm talking about the power element. Like, Johnny not being there should have implicitly depowered them if this were an element. And I know it's comics, retcons happen all the time, but if we just let them get away with it, but they won't know it's bad.
I mean, there could be any number of explanations. Maybe Franklin and Valeria being there and Dragon Man all kind of compensated for that a little bit. Or, you know what? Back then, they didn't show them using their powers as much. They were the Future Foundation. They were more focused on that.
And I see your point. And I'm probably just,
Voyager being shoehorned into Avengers history century style is not a good comparison.
Okay, so listening to this, I think I understand your problem with it, Josh. It's an example of show don't tell. They're using it. They're saying they're telling you they have to stick together for this specific reason instead of just letting the dynamic be the dynamic. It's supposed to be subtext, but they're making it text.
That is a part of it, though. That is definitely a big part of it. The other idea is just me being a comic nerd and complaining about retcons, and I appreciate you giving me some credit there, but a part of this is kind of petty. And
I think you guys said you didn't have a lot to say about this, and it's getting into a very long discussion about retcons and continuity.
You also missed Jeremy's very beautiful speech about the Fantastic Four. It was quite moving.
Look. I let you rant for 20 minutes about I have my Fantastic Four dynamic that I have waited years for, and I will be damned if you don't let me enjoy it.
Oh no, please. I will never stop anyone from enjoying anything. I mean, I'll complain about it. But I'm not saying, hey, no one can enjoy The Flash. No one should enjoy The Flash.
I just my biggest thing with this book, and I keep telling people this at the store I work at, this comic is just damn fun. Doesn't anybody remember when comics were just fun and we weren't as worried about continuity, like completely lining? And I know this flies against everything I said last week about Justice League.
Hold on, let me go find my
I need to find my tinted lenses. Oh, there they are. Hold on. I'm helping you out.
Wait, this is the voice from Beyond. When comics
your
were
rose-colored
fun,
glasses.
When comics were fun, when Carter was in office, I enjoyed that. Yeah,
exactly. Totally. Let's all remember when Carter was in office, and just remember, sometimes comics are they're fun. This is a fun-ass comic book. Like, every issue is 100% entertaining. It has great artwork. It has a really strong story with a really good message. It features characters that everybody should love because they're the quintessential comic book characters. The Silver Age. It's a harken back to the Silver Age of Marvel storytelling, and we need this book right now. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it. Okay. So for a random 5 years during Jonathan Hickman's run, it doesn't explain how Johnny being away in the negative zone, then they could use their powers magically. Fine, I get it. But that was also like 17,986 reboots of Marvel ago, and sometimes that just happens.
All new, all different legacy Marvel now .1.
Yes.
I will. The thing is, I do agree with you. And like even, and I maybe I was being a little unfair because I am also one who's like is usually like people need to chill it on the obsession with continuity. It was just it was just a little like it wasn't as galling as Voyager. I'll definitely agree with that because I'll always say, where was she during the Korvac saga when they all literally died?
Yeah. She was
but,
getting a coffee with Jarvis.
and Sentry and Blue Marble. No, I will defend Blue Marble. Blue Marble's fantastic. But the that wasn't as big of a, but to me that wasn't as much of a detriment to this comic as just how slow how it kind of felt like the plot didn't get anywhere. I mean, again, I still enjoyed it for the chemistry, but
yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, the plot did go somewhere though. I mean, you got the reveal of the power thing. As the B story, you got the Tinkerer becoming kind of a more menacing Fantastic Four villain.
You mean the Mad Thinker?
Yes, the Mad Thinker. And,
actually, for the first time.
Yeah, and they're building up a new character like that to be a big bad because you just can't have them fight Doom right away.
I do like what they did with the Thinker, and I will say that we figure out what's going on with the powers, but it could have been accomplished in fewer pages. I mean, sure, it was kind of fun seeing, oh, here's Hydro Man, but
I'm going to throw this dart through the screen at your face.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I seem to remember you guys going, oh, we'll save this one for the last one because neither of us have a lot to say about it. It's been 10 minutes since I got back on here, and you guys started before I got here.
I'm not saying it's bad, Jeremy. I do want to clarify. I did enjoy this. It was just it kind of felt like we were oddly petering out of steam with this story that kind of just felt like it was mostly meandering. Even if it was fun, it was a lot of fun, and I still
they flushed Hydro-Man down a toilet.
I mean, yeah, but what do you need? One panel for that?
Wait, they did what?
Oh yeah, Hydro-Man gets he has to take the back door out of this place because the person who owns it, the scientist lady, who I also kind of dig, she's like one of those people who's just like constantly telling everyone how they're idiots. But since he made a wreck of the place, she said he has to take the back door, so he has to go through the toilet.
And he says, "Water's water, lady." And then in all of those stupid Wolverine backups they're doing, those one-page completely pointless Wolverine ones,
they're so dumb.
This one was great because Hydro Man gets flushed out of the toilet and he comes out of this lake and he sees a campfire and he decides he's going to rob whoever is there for their clothes and stuff. And it's Logan, and he pops his claws, and you're just like, yes! And that was the first time any of those made any sense, and this comic is perfect, and I'm done talking now.
Those Wolverine backups are so stupid.
Yes, except for this one.
Yeah,
Otherwise, a dart is going to get thrown across the of Skype.
But, so we have disagreements over the various varying degrees of quality, but we do agree that it's good. I will definitely say that this was enjoyable, even if I felt the comic was oddly padded with water, and
okay,
I took it fun.
Fine.
And could have accomplished the same amount in fewer pages. But it was fun, and I am glad to see Benji and Johnny, and hopefully the other two that are across the room right now, come back into comics with a writer who Zdarsky's definitely capable of getting the chemistry going. Like that's one of the most astonishing things about this. Like, wow, yeah, this really does just feel like a weird after the fact prequel to a new Fantastic Four book.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like you guys have wrapped yourselves up then. Jeremy, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Jeremy Ohio, and I'm Bleeding Cool, writing about all kinds of fun collectibles.
And throwing darts at Josh. Where they can find you, Josh?
lost in the negative zone, and also writing about comics on Bleeding Cool, and occasionally irritating the shit out of Jeremy.
I'm
And
sad
also-
I missed this dynamic.
I snuck in a really good Jude joke in the last one.
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Oh, good. I'll have to go back and watch the parts before my internet decided to die. I hate you, Comcast.
We all do.
And my name is Kaitlyn Booth. You can follow me at Katie's Movies, and I'm the head film writer here at Bleeding Cool. Next time we do one of these, it's just going to be Jeremy and Josh and whoever they can wrangle into doing one of these.
And we're
Probably
sorry
Elliot.
in advance. We are so sorry.
Oh,
I'm
everything
not.
it'll be fine.
I
You
will go
need
to
me
my.
to come in and send you to your respective circles who know when I'm awake and when I'm around. Okay, boys?
Maybe we'll get another really contentious comic next week. I hope it's. I
Those
don't
are
know
the
what's
best
coming out next
ones.
week.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.